the demographics back then?
That would have been
Year zero.
Just about, yeah.
just about BC. It would have been a mix of Palestinians, Palestinians, Arabs, Jews, and Christians.
It was a mix of people
Yes.
in this area,
But Palestine.
and that changed over time.
Well, yes, but
And
under.
they got along back then.
Yes. So.
Wasn't it? I don't know my ancient history. Wasn't it the year? Was it 70 BC or AD when like the whole Jewish kingdom fell and Rome like them all up? They were all getting along back then. Is that what we're saying right now, or what? Like
This is a common misconception, okay? People think that Muslims, that Arabs and Jews have been feuding for centuries, when in reality,
Wait a minute. How can there be Christians before Jesus?
well, we're talking
they were
about
like early. They just knew. They had a good feeling.
we're talking about like Jesus. Are you talking about before, like as Jesus was?
There's no way a baby can be born and all of a sudden there's a religion.
she's doing the racist thing, where she's assuming Arab and it's not racist, bro. There's so much weird. I don't even know what the I'm listening to. I don't even know what the I'm listening to right now. Islam is, was it like 500 or 600? When did Islam even start? I don't actually know. Let's look it up. Okay, so Islam isn't here for quite a while. 610.
This is a common misconception, okay? People think that
Also, why are Christians their own ethnic group? What is it? What is?
Muslims, that Arabs and Jews have been common.
They got along back then.
Yes. So this is a common misconception, okay? People think that Muslims, that Arabs and Jews have been feuding for centuries, when in
That
reality,
Muslims, Arabs, and Jews. Okay.
Wait a minute. How can there be Christians before Jesus?
well, we're talking
They were
about.
like early. They just knew. They had a good feeling.
We're talking about like Jesus. Are you talking about before, like as Jesus was?
There's no way a baby can be born and all of a sudden there's a religion following this baby.
The wise men showed up.
That cannot be the case. That's not possible.
Attention
I am. I'm trying to figure it out.
But you're looking for a loophole, dumbass. Like, just like,
Okay.
It's not a loophole. Like, obviously, Christianity didn't instantaneously start. When did Christianity start to spread? Christianity developed in the province of Judea out of Jewish tradition in the 1st century CE, spread throughout the Roman Empire, and eventually became its official religion. When did it become the official religion of the Roman Empire? When did Christianity? It was 380 CE. I don't know. I guess for the next few hundred years it starts to spread then?
I need to clarify something right now too, because I haven't read chat, but I'm sure there's people who've been saying it. I need to clarify something.
Arabs and Muslims aren't the same thing? Or would she ever talk to you? Absolutely. No shot.
Zionist movement.
Stop. What is Zionist?
Good call.
Okay.
It sounds like something from the
Zionism.
Matrix.
Zionism generally just means that you think that Jews should have their own country, generally. That's like the broadest explanation. Let's see what she'll say. Oh boy. Whew. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
So Zionism is a movement that was created to establish a Jewish state in Palestine through
Not, I mean, it, okay. Not really, but okay.
to establish a Jewish state in Palestine through the means of displacement and dispossession of the indigenous Palestinians who lived there.
Okay, so we have like the most loaded negative possible framing of what Zionism is. Good start. Okay, that's good. So this also is enough moral justification then to hate every Zionist, which is basically kind of like 90% of Jews, probably. Like 70 to 90% of Jews is good. So that's good. Good foundation. Not anti-Semitic though, but okay, good foundation.
That is how the nation of Israel was founded in 1948 after they took 78% of historic Palestinian lands and
Historic Ottoman Empire lands or land that was run by the Brits. This is so, why am I listening to this?
displaced over 750,000 Palestinians.
Okay,
So
this is
Zionism
a
is
plan.
a movement. This was the plan, yes.
Who came up
Oh,
with
this was the plan all along. Okay, yeah. How many people were listening to this dog shit fucking stream? Oh my fucking God, kill me.
But I have to be kind of silly because it's funny.
I know, but we can't conflate. We cannot conflate Jews with Zionists because Zionism is a very dangerous nationalist movement.
Dangerous nationalist movement. What is Palestine? What are Palestinians? Is that not a nationalist movement? Maybe that one's not dangerous, I guess.
Jews with Zionists because Zion.
Also, how many Jews? Well, let's see. Actually, let's check. Polling data, USA. How many Jews support? What would we even look for? Existence of Israel? Of all the Jewish people, 41% are not at all attached to Israel. I wonder if that means they'd be okay with the state being destroyed. But 58% are very or somewhat attached. 8 in 10 U.S. Jews say caring about Israel is an important or essential part of what being Jewish means to them. 8 in 10. Important but not essential, and then essential. Jeez. So that's like, what, 82%? So I guess most Jews are Zionists in her.
Zionism is a very dangerous nationalist movement. It's white supremacy.
Right. It's like
White supremacy. What? Remember when I said about for this conflict, it's nice because you can read like whatever the you want into the conflict, basically.
A dangerous nationalist movement. It's white supremacy.
Right. It's like
Judaism
Germans and you know what else?
Do you remember learning about Manifest Destiny in school?
Never heard. Wait, is that like the American dream?
Close. It was when we were like, you know what God wants? God wants us to have a nation that stretches from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast.
Well, that sounds like a good
That's our
plan.
land because God wants us to have it. That is the same kind of divine delusion that the Zionists are operating under. That
Yes,
God
and they-
is with kind us to have a nation that stretches from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast.
Well, that sounds like a
That's
good
our
plan.
land.
Isn't that literally what the Palestinians say, though, when they say, like, from river to sea? Isn't that the manifest destiny? But
Because God wants to have it. That is the same kind of divine delusion that the Zionists are operating under. That
Yes,
God has willed.
and they co-opt aspects of Judaism.
also, by divine delusion, remember that you absolutely cannot dig underneath any of that Temple Mount because the entire Arab world, the entire Muslim world would lose their mind if you would actually discover any Jewish artifacts there, because for a lot of them, they believe that Jews were never in that place at all. And the fact that there might be evidence that a first temple or something existed beneath that would like destroy the collective Muslim mind. But, okay.
Judaism in order to conflate Judaism with Zionism and say that all Jews are Zionists, which means all Jews believe in an ethno-state, stay with me, which means that Judaism is the only ethnicity, religion, you name it, in the nation of Israel.
What about the 2 million Arabs living there? Is that we're not gonna...
People are asking, do you realize that like Israel wasn't founded until 1948? Israel did not, as
So
a
that,
nation,
wasn't that in
did
the
not
Bible? Wasn't that in the Bible though?
They did say 1948.
No, isn't that like an old school city? Like or
No,
old school?
Jerusalem? Are you referring? Jerusalem has been what
Wait, what am I thinking
religiously has been a battle over the right.
So you're
to,
saying Israel did not exist?
Yes.
Until 1948.
Yes,
That word wasn't real before
there
that.
was no nation of Israel.
What was Israel? Is it like a,
What were the Israelites? What was that referring to? Why were the Jews there in 0 CE, BC, CE, BCE? What were they doing there at all?
It was
was
Palestine
it just an idea back then? Real.
for the right.
So you're
to,
saying Israel did not exist?
Yes.
Until 1948.
Yes,
That word wasn't real before
there
that.
was no nation of Israel.
What was Israel? Is it like
Israel was
it,
Palestine.
Was it just an idea back then?
Israel was. Israel. Okay. Yes, I know he's thinking about. He's thinking about
What's the word?
Jerusalem.
I don't know if this is offensive.
Jerusalem, which is always
But
existed.
in the Bible, isn't there a world called like Israelites?
Uh-oh. Israelites. Well, that's like Pedialyte, okay? That was just their diet back then. Uh-oh. How do we explain this one?
Israelites? Isn't that a term in the Bible?
Is it in relationship to the kingdom of Israel? Is that I think that
What is it?
in the Bible, but I could be very off.
Didn't
there.
you just learn this in Wiki like 2 months ago? I didn't know anything about the history that much of this region before October 7th. But I'm not on stream educating people about it. I'm sitting here reading and learning. What do you mean, you retard? What's the comparison? Like, I don't understand the comparison in your mind. Like, imagine if somebody's like, hey, Destiny, can you explain precisely the technology of how, like, monitors work? And I go, no, I don't really know how they work. And then I watch somebody explaining it incorrectly, and then I make fun of them. And I'm like, why are you explaining all this shit correctly, this guy? And, like, you come up to me and it's like, well, don't you not know how monitors work? No, I don't. But I'm not making fun of somebody for not having the knowledge. I'm making fun of somebody for pretending they do and then educating tens of thousands of others on it. What?
I'm trying to like, I guess the clarification.
And then she's lying here, which is like, I'm just trying to make this simple for you. I'm trying not to get too bogged down. I'm trying not to get in the weeds. I'm trying to make things too complicated.
In all honesty, though, the Bible doesn't even matter here.
It never did.
But because what we're talking about lands here,
Yes.
right? We're talking about a minority population of
Yeah.
people, settlers, who moved in to these lands that had already been populated by indigenous Palestinians and then took them.
To make a quick caveat, to be like the
How are they populated? Where did those people come from? We skipped over a couple thousand years of history there. What happened?
of like the kingdom of Israel as referenced in the Bible, founded like in like 1050 BC, something like that, right? To lay claim to a kingdom of Israel as like an ancestral land to me is somewhat disingenuous. It would be similar to any like modern day like let's say like a Venetian citizen being like, I should be able to displace British people from London because this was a part of like the Roman Empire or something.
Oh, what about natives in like Canada or natives in the United States? Are they also not allowed to do that, or are we only being like anti-white like indigenous person here? Are we just shitting on the white indigenous people? Are we going to extend that to every indigenous person that wants land or a claim to land or wants some more territorial property or deals or tax breaks or funding or
Something like that. You know what I mean?
Wait. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes when you talk, my guy, it's just you gotta talk to me like Caroline talks to me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, we gotta break it down real slow for your
So,
boy
Yeah,
here.
people are posting this in chat. Israelite
Yeah.
refers to the people whom the Hebrew Bible describes specifically as the direct descendants of any of the sons of the patriarch Jacob, later called Israel. And his descendants as a people are also collectively called Israel, including converts through their faith in
So it has
worship of the
nothing to
nation.
do at all with the city, country,
with the
nation.
state of Israel. Right. We're trying to say
okay.
that
State of
physically
Israel.
the state of Israel did not exist
Yeah.
until 1948 because
And
that
it has
is
nothing
when
to do with the.
he should ask, oh, well, when did the state of Palestine exist? Reach out to them for a convo? No, they don't want to talk about this shit. And this is like a 6-month-old thing anyway. I don't know why I got like this. It's just for me to get triggered.
Bible.
I mean, their reasons for establishing Israel, they claim, are religious. They say that
know
they
what?
have the right to that land.
That's absolutely not true. It was secular Zionism that started the nation of Israel. It wasn't for a religious reason. That's why they didn't go to Judea and Samaria, which are the historic lands of the Jew people. But instead, they started with Tel Aviv and Haifa and moved south from there.
Reasons for establishing Israel, they claim, are religious. They say
You
that
know
they
what?
have the right to
It
that land.
doesn't
But
even
no
matter.
one has the right
But
to land.
that's why we're saying that the Bible, it's
Here's the thing.
it
There's no
shouldn't
such
even
thing.
be discussed here.
There's no such thing as
Okay.
like no one really owns land ever, which might be like a total divergence, but it's like who can defend land ultimately, but
Exactly.
can stay there, which is why this is also kind of like that's like the wild fucking west. That's
Well,
anti-humanitarian.
that's why
It makes
America
no
pretty much
sense.
owns the whole world because we can just go take it.
That is a sobering reality in
Hey.
many ways. Yes.
And I don't agree.
Yeah, I mean, listen, every major empire is founded on colonialism, on colonizing.
So let's just get on.
Indigenous people.
Let's just get on. Let's get on topic.
Chinese-
here.
Okay, all right. So let's start with what happened.
She used the. I can't, bro. I can't.